So today we've got some early gameplay for Vondel coming tomorrow in Season 4 of Warzone. Entirely honest, I was incredibly surprised to be invited out last week to try out the new map. It's been no secret that I've been heavily critical to the point where I'm not really even playing Warzone, but anyways, appreciate the invite. Of course, as you guys know, I'll always continue to speak my thoughts on the mode and all, so let's jump into this before letting the gameplay kind of run out on its own. You see it in its raw context. A little context though in background for the event itself. We recorded on Monday afternoon into the evening. We had a pre-briefing and then about an hour and a half of gameplay, so I only got 4 games total, 2 of Resurgence BR, 2 of the new mode Lockdown, which we'll get to in a second. Teams were pre-made, each station was grouped and partied already, had a name tag and everything, so didn't even get to pick my seat, but it was cool. I had Hannah or Butters on my squad. She was about the only person I knew really at that event pretty well anyway, so cool that it worked out in that way. But anyways, that's basically the capture event. Oh, also one thing to note, this was captured on PlayStation 5, not PC as normal. And I will say it was pretty cool because we were playing on PS5 dev kits. Not sure if anyone's ever seen those in person, but I remember like those really weird, almost U-shaped console designs that leaked way before the PS5 ever came out, but that's actually what the dev kits were. Anyways though, the map of Vondel, first impressions, I liked it. Gonna say it right up front though, it is still Warzone 2.0, or I guess now dropping that 2.0 part, so still just the Warzone we've had since November, which again, no secret, hasn't really been my cup of tea. There's no changing that, and for that, I'll probably play Vondel for a bit at launch, then it'll probably be something where I lose interest rather quickly again. Happened when Ashika Island was introduced, happened with ranked play, so it's just not my jam this year, and that's cool. Very happy for you if you do enjoy it, you are looking forward to it, and you're gonna be grinding this out. Absolutely love that for you, but if not, I totally get it. But anyways, the map itself, I actually really liked it to the degree that I only had 4 matches to play. The map itself is bright, colorful by comparison, large but not too large, like you're always in the action. With Resurgence, it's 70 to 72 players, which is a nice pace. One thing you'll notice is there are a few gameplay changes exclusive to Vondel. One thing that is probably the biggest is that water is now not as muddied. It's definitely way clearer and not as dark as you dive because it's just the canals. You can't go super deep. So the abundance of water isn't too much of an issue for any attacking player. Like I find myself now Mazra and Ashika Island even, where if I'm trying to chase somebody down, they can just go into the water and I'll lose track of them. You won't have that sort of issue here within Vondel. You might have sort of some of like the sunshine shimmer off the water where it distorts your view, but for the most part, you'll be able to see players relatively easily. And I will say that if you are jumping into the water, it still might be a hindrance because you can only still use your pistol. Nothing was changed on that front where you can use a primary just yet or anything like that. But anyways, moving past the water, the buildings and makeup of the map itself weren't bad for my initial gameplay impressions. Again, only based off of 4 matches played here. But one thing you also have to note is that everyone here out of the like 30-person group that we had is a YouTuber or streamer, so they wanted to play aggressive. So I'm sure that you're going to get, once the map launches, a ton of casuals who will hide, try and play for that one kill, and it'll play incredibly differently. That happens every single time there's a pre-launch event, but it is something that you have to bear in mind. Things like high ground or the multi-tier levels of things like university, which bold move in today's climate for that to be a POI. That stuff really wasn't too much of an issue. I kind of thought all the verticality when it was announced and when it was discussed that it might be problematic. It really wasn't, again, in my gameplay sessions, but it could be something that's different for the vast majority of players once it goes public. But it's nice that those larger buildings too, the access points, you won't see like windows and players peeking out of floors 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Those taller buildings, most will be like bottom and top floors only as described by Beanox, so you won't have to check a million different angles. So checking over some notes, only a few other things that I want to touch on. One thing is 150 HP, baby. More health is definitely nice. Full transparency, the weapons that we had in this build were not tuned like they will be for the launch of Season 4 tomorrow. So things like the Cronin, still ripped, but things like the ISO, which are like borderline weapons that they take a little bit longer now after adjustments, but they still can get the job done. They were kind of pea shooters with 150 HP and not any damage attribute adjustments. So that's something to consider. The new weapons of like the Tempest, Razorback, and ISO were decent. I think that Razorback has a phenomenal potential to be a sniper support weapon, almost as if it like was the FFAR from Black Ops Cold War. The fire rate is pretty wild. The damage properties are okay to a degree, but it's absolutely something I think you'll be able to use as like an AR SMG hybrid where you can get the kills close quarters and outwards of mid-range, but once you get to longer range, it's no longer going to get the job done. So you want to maybe take a sniper along with that. That's my preliminary bet here with how everything will work out, but again, no weapon tuning or anything really ironed out entirely during our play session, so could be wrong. But that's Vondel Resurgence BR. We didn't get to play the regular standard Battle Royale last man standing type deal yet. That was something that was not a part of that build and probably won't be coming until like mid-season based off of what the marketing kind of looks like. Lockdown, that's something that will be secondary in the gameplay. We'll probably put a little bit up here while we're talking about it, but it's a multi-team hardpoint on Warzone. If you want a good comparison here, think fire team hardpoint, where there's multi hardpoints around the large maps that were in Black Ops Cold War, but a little bit more chaotic because you end up having the same sort of rule sets as mini Royale, where it's a small subsection of the map, but the zone will end up moving as the game progresses. You'll end up having 7 different hardpoints, all teams going after all of them. I think this was something where the player count drops down to 36 per match as opposed to the 70 to 72 per Resurgence Battle Royale. So it is something that's a bit smaller, so it's not as hectic as like 70 players, but it still absolutely gets nuts. There were definitely times where I was just getting spawn killed, fried out of the sky. And that's one thing that I think that there could definitely be more an abundant number of armor plates on the ground. Armored boxes spawn rates seem to be increased in this, so it's something you definitely can still get armor out of it. But I mean, unless you're trying to loot and get an armor box every single life, it's kind of unfortunate because you'll end up landing, getting ripped, and then you're kind of just like, all right, well, I gotta get kind of lucky that I don't get pinched by multiple players or something like that, because it will be hard to find individual plates, at least in the build that we ended up playing. But honestly, that's really all I want to touch on here with this. I'll let the gameplay run out and show you what you need to for the rest of the video unedited, so you don't have to hear my voice droning on. But anyways, that's Vondel. I think the map itself is pretty solid. It's still Warzone and what we've gotten since November, so take that how you will. No increases to movement, slide, or anything like that we knew of. Health being 150 definitely is a W, I think, though. But beyond that, it's the same game. If you didn't like it before this update, you probably still won't after the update. That's fine. Same with if you chose not to play it, given the current climate of things. I'm not going to go into that can of worms in this, but I mean, you do you, man. If you're looking forward to Season 4's launch and the coming content, awesome. We'll have coverage here because, well, that's my literal job. I've already explained my stance on stuff with the last COD video we put up in the comments, and no matter what I do, it's the internet, somebody's gonna get pissed off. But I've got a team to pay that makes the content happen. I got bills to pay myself, so coverage will be happening here. We'll, of course, be throwing in other games like X-Defiant and everything like that here upcoming, with the new open beta coming up next week beyond Season 4. But anyways, that's where we're at. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, you'd like to stay up to date with all things Season 4 coverage and other FPS content, feel free to subscribe. I'd love to have you in the community. But thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the gameplay.
I mean, on the roof, got pushed by Espresso.
Yeah,
Enemy UAV overhead.
up.
Medical.
There is a sniper.
Enemy mark.
Nice.
I got you.
Closing round. UAV is bingo fuel. I'll see you this time.
Oh! They sure are. I'll hop down. Yeah.
Fire sale
Oh, behind me?
Okay.
Life station prices have been reduced. Copy. UAV is on station.
What's behind me?
Online.
Thank you. One more, kind of on the bridge here, I think. Oh, that's how now I split him.
Oops. I'm gonna do that. No, I don't even know.
Be advised, UAV is exiting the AO. Watch your six. Resurgence window is ending. Contract failed. Objective lost. Resurgence has been deactivated.
They have a
This is
sniper
the
down
end
low.
game.
Yep,
He's
right
still
there.
there.
Moving.
Yep.
He's hurt. 1A, 1A, 1A. Absolute one shot. I don't have nothing to do that.
Oh, well.
I'm gonna go back up. How do I get back up? Hit the-
Hostile UAV in the area. 25 remaining.
Get down low, right here, right here.
Moving.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm dipping. Ooh.
Making the safe zone. Enemy dropping
Who
into
knew?
the AO.
There's two on me?
Overhead.
And staircase behind you, not yet. Pick up that
is this? I got a redeployable thing. I don't even know what that is.
I got that too. I didn't know what it was.
I don't have a gas mask.
I don't know. Pretty shitty.
Copy that.
Is somebody looking at me?
Look alive. Get me medical.
Left, yeah.
Safe zone now.
I got one.
Hostiles dropping in the area. Watch the skies.
I'm getting stitched up.
Right here. Here? Oh, that's a white pig.
You're far from the safe zone. Advise you start moving.
Requesting recon.
I see a couple above on the
Copy that.
stairs as well.
UAV online and opening the AO.
Okay.
Enemy bomb
Yeah,
detonator
drop it,
reported
drop.
in the area. Track it down and secure it.
Hmm.
They're right above.
Yeah, they're gonna jump.
Hostile UAV in the area. Be advised, UAV is exiting the AO. Enemy precision airstrike. Find cover. 10 remaining. Keep it
That's
up.
not a good idea.
Gas moving in.
Requesting close hand.
On us. Come on. I have no ammo. Right. Yeah, no, there's two up.
Gas is inbound.
Bro, I don't even know how to fucking knife.
Oh my god. I think there's a team of 3 right in front of you.
No.
All good.
And we're still standing. Learn from the
I said I'm moving up.
Failure is
I don't even know how to knife with the PlayStation controller.
Finish the mission.
Are you normal on Xbox?
Five remain. Stay sharp.